Hey everyone, it's Kim with Crafty Kim's Creations, and I have for you 5 spooktacular Dollar Tree Halloween DIYs. Let's get started. For the first DIY, you're going to need 2 of these faux candles from Dollar Tree. I got the skulls. And 2 of these plastic wine glasses, and then just some black spray paint if you choose to paint them like I did. So as I said, they are cool the way they are, but I wanted them to have more of an eerie look, so I just gave them 1 coat of the black spray paint. With my hot glue gun, I'm going to add some drippings down the top of the skull candle, and then I'll also add some around the eyes and a little on the mouth as well. Now with any red acrylic paint, just go over all of the areas where the hot glue is. Now you could certainly stop here and it looks pretty cool, but I decided I wanted to add a little more detail to the skull candles. So with some black paint, I'm gonna outline the eyes, the nose, and the teeth area. And I just feel like this definitely gave it more of an interesting look, and I love how they turned out. For the next DIY, we're gonna use this pumpkin from Dollar Tree and some cling wrap, and then you can either use a hairdryer. I actually used a heat gun. And the last thing is just some black spray paint. So just removing the tag from the top of the pumpkin, I'm going to use a marker to draw a face that I want to cut out. Now just using my utility knife, I am going to cut the pieces out, and then I just use my fingers to pry the pieces off the pumpkin. So you guys, I saw this technique on monster tutorials on YouTube. It's a guy named Eduardo. I don't recall his last name, but he did this in one of his videos, and I really wanted to give it a try. So make sure you check out his video that I'll link in the description box below to see how he did his pumpkins. I just wanted to do my own, so I'm sharing it with you guys, but I wanted to give him a shout out because that's who I got the idea from. So the next step is to take the saran wrap and wrap it around the pumpkin so that the opening of the saran wrap is at the top and bottom of the pumpkin, and that way you can use it to create the stem and also melt the bottom to secure it in place. So now with my heat gun, I am just putting it all around the pumpkin to secure the saran wrap to the foam, and just pushing down on the bottom of the pumpkin to secure it. And I'll keep twisting the top to make sure that it stays closed. And then you also want to make sure that you go over the eyes and the nose and the mouth where you cut it out so that you melt all the plastic away from the openings. And on this particular pumpkin, I didn't stay on it very long, but my other pumpkins, I actually melted some of the foam as well, just to make it look even more rotten. And now taking some of this black spray paint, you can use any spray paint, it doesn't have to be anything special. You just spray it all over the pumpkin and then take some paper towels and dab it off. I didn't actually film most of that, so I apologize, but here you'll see that I'm just wiping some of it off and showing some of the foam underneath, which kind of helps it look a little moldy. But then to add even more mold, I'm using some green chalk paint and just kind of dry brushing it onto certain spots on the pumpkin to give it a very moldy, disgusting look. This step is optional. I decided I wanted to add some tea lights to the inside of the pumpkin, so I just traced the outside circle, and now just using my utility knife, I'm gonna cut out the bottom and just stick the light right into the hole. I didn't glue it or anything, just in case I need to change it out or take it out completely. And these are so cool, you guys. They're so much cooler in person. Really, go check out Monster Tutorials on YouTube. He's amazing. If you like scary Halloween like I do, you will love all of his videos. I really love how these turned out. For the next DIY, you're gonna need 2 rugs from Dollar Tree. I chose gray. Some duct tape. This is also from Dollar Tree, but I actually would recommend a stronger duct tape if you have it. This felt skull from Dollar Tree, but they have other shapes if you wanted to change it up. And these sticker letters from Dollar Tree as well, and then just some black spray paint. So here I just taped the backside of the 2 rugs together with the duct tape, and then I'm going to place the skull and letters. I spelled out trick or treat for my rug, but you could certainly do happy Halloween or whatever you want. And then just take it outside, and I'm just giving it a coat of the black spray paint. And I do go a little thicker around the letters and the skull itself, but then I kind of just give it kind of a cloudy look by barely spraying it over the rest of the rug because I wanted it to look a little more creepy. And once it's dry, just remove the felt and the stickers, and maybe your pet will help like my dog Lily did. And then you're done. And I just put this in my bathroom over my checkered rug that was already there, and I really love how it looks. For this next DIY, I picked up 2 of these brooms from Dollar Tree, and I just grabbed a stick from outside. I've actually had this one laying around for a while, and then some ribbon, and all of these ribbons that I used are actually from Dollar Tree. You'll also need some jute twine, and mine is from Dollar Tree. So my stick was a little too long, so I just cut some of it off. And now I'm removing the leaves, and I will remove the tags and the little scarecrows. I actually end up removing all of the jute twine holding these together because I ended up finding that it was easier just to make the straw loose to add to our stick. For a starting point, I added some hot glue directly onto the stick and then put some of the straw onto the glue and held it there. This is just to give me a base to work with so that when I add the rest of it, it's a little easier to manage. And once all of that's on there, I just scoop up all the loose straw and kind of hold it with my hand. And I'm gonna tie a piece of jute string around to hold it. So there you can see I just added a little bit of hot glue to start the jute string, and now I'm just pulling it all around super tight onto the straw. Once it's tight enough, I can cut that other piece of jute string on that I originally tied on to hold it together. And then when you get to the end, just hot glue the jute twine down. As I've stated in previous videos, my bow making skills are not the best. So I cheated and watched Olivia from Olivia's Romantic Home. She has this video on how to make a bow with no tools required, and it actually turned out pretty good. So as I said, I'm more of a creepy Halloween girl, but I figured I would make a pretty bow for my witch's broom so that it appeals to everyone out there. So I just used all of this different ribbon, and I'll link the video to make this bow in the description box below. Make sure to check out her page. She's amazing, and she is like awesome at making bows. And then I just slipped a piece of jute twine to tie it onto the stick, and that's it. You have a witch's broom. I'll have to admit, you guys, I'm trying to get used to the bow. I really like the bow, but I'm not sure if it's too big for the broom or not. Let me know what you think in the comments below. You could certainly just have the broom be more creepy and not add a bow. Let me know how you would go about doing this. So for the final DIY, and probably my favorite, you're going to need some of these pallets you can get at Dollar Tree, and a creepy cloth, some twinkle lights or string lights. I bought these LED string lights from Dollar Tree. And then I got this skeleton garland also from Dollar Tree. The first thing we're gonna do is put these together to make sort of like a crate. So I'm adding a little bit of wood glue and then some hot glue to give it a good hold. I cut a piece of the creepy cloth and folded it in half, and now just starting off, I'm going to add a little bit of hot glue to hold it in place and just add it to the whole inside of our little crate. When I got to the last corner, I just cut off the excess and added a little bit of hot glue. But as you can see, I secured it over the top of the pallets just by pulling down over the top of them. So now it's time to start adding our little pieces and parts of these skeletons, and I just used a pair of scissors to cut off the parts that I wanted and added some hot glue and stuck them into the slats of the pallets. And you can choose to do this any way you want. It's never going to look the same, but I just put the pieces wherever I felt they looked good. And just like we did with the skeleton candles, I'm just adding some hot glue dripping down from the tops and from some of the body bones, and then just on the sides of some of the wood slats. And taking some red acrylic paint, just going over that. And I did end up using a little bit of a dry brush technique and just kind of added little spots of red here and there. And then I even ended up painting one of the little hands on the skeleton arm and using it to make like little fingerprint marks all over the box. You could do that, or you could just use a paintbrush to make fake fingerprints if you wanted to, but just have fun with it. This step is also optional, but I decided I wanted to make a keep out sign to glue to the front of the box. So I'm just using one of my popsicle sticks and a red marker and just writing keep out. And I also end up adding a little bit of blood spatter to these as well. Then just add your lights inside the box and you're done. Now these lights aren't as bright as I would like them to be, so I might get some different ones to try out, but how cool is this? It's like a little lantern box of creepy, gory skeletons trying to get out or in, you never know. And I have this all on my fireplace. I did end up making 2 of these, so I have one on either side of my fireplace. And it just looks really cool with the rotten pumpkins and our little skeleton candles. I really like how everything turned out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please make sure to give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for even more videos to come. I'm hoping to be able to do another Halloween video. I'm trying to do as many as I can before it's too late.